Ashes of Creation currently is invaded by bots. The amount seen and reported by players continues to grow day by day, and the issue continues to get worse. Players, including myself, have seen the same bots consistently with no action taken. Even after an essentially economy-wrecking high-tier gear duplication was caught, there continues to be more and more issues arising, such as the mass botting, RMT becoming more evident, multi-boxing AFK fishers, multi-boxing combat bots, resource overlay tools being sold, and even outright immortal flying hackers as the issues remain uncorrected. So hello gamers, it's Nyce. I hope everyone who can check this box because they're not a bot is having a nice day. Today we'll be discussing the botting, cheating, and mass multi-boxing occurring in MMORPG Ashes of Creation. This issue has consistently gotten worse, and I've had this video prepared for weeks hoping I'd not need to address this, but honestly, I'm seeing the issue getting worse day by day and the community voicing concerns more and more. Before we get into it, please consider subscribing for more content. Also, I'd like to preface this video with an important message. Ashes of Creation is still in early access and just released into early access in December of 2025. The game is a work in progress, and I hope these issues get resolved, and I'm really a fan of this game. Do understand that plenty of MMOs and games for that matter suffer from bots, cheaters, and multi-boxing. This is not an issue unique to developer of this project, Intrepid Studios. The issue more so in my opinion is not that it's possible or even that it's happening, but it's more so the lack of action. GM responses, especially when they said they'll have GMs in game, even though that may be towards launch. There's delayed customer service action on reported accounts and much more. Also, I think it's fair to mention that creative director of Ashes of Creation, Steven Sharif, has stated that they will soon be dealing with this issue in the upcoming weeks, but however, we've also been expecting a ban list he promised, which has yet to be posted at the time of this video. So as always, take Steven dates and promises with a grain of salt, as they are subject to change. With that being said, let's begin with the bots, multi-boxers, and RMT, and then I'll finally address the Intrepid Steam lists and the dupe exploits of Ashes of Creation. The bots are everywhere. Throughout this video and in the B-roll in the background, I'll be showing examples of this. Do be aware, this issue is not isolated to just one server. This is an issue that's very common, and here shortly I'll be discussing an interaction with the owner of a few multi-box characters which earned me this whisper here in game. First, let me discuss multi-boxing. For lack of a better definition, multi-boxing in MMOs is essentially the process or action of a user operating multiple accounts or characters simultaneously in an effort to increase efficiency, leveling, boost accounts, RMT, or just for convenience. I recently showcased this issue in a video I posted weeks ago, and at the time of that video, to my knowledge, most of these multi-boxers, I'll refer to them as, were just pretty much just leveling via the AFK fishing mechanic. I thought that this was as deep as it went. They'll control anywhere from 15 to 20 accounts at the same time and level characters via the XP they gain from this activity. The way multi-boxers aren't kicked is just from macroing their character to jump and move left and right occasionally. This helps prevent the game from detecting that you're not playing it so you don't get AFK idle kicked, right? The resetting of their idle timer is usually done by the multi-boxer making, multiple characters move at once, or just having the program / macro do it for them. Well, what's funny is the same botters from that video I ran into yesterday here at a different location, and I've seen several posts about these same AFK fishermen. And trust me, I know, who cares, right? They're just AFK fishermen, and we got bigger fish to fry, pun intended, I guess. Well, I went from seeing only this group on my server and, only seeing the bots AFK fish to seeing multiple different groups of bots. And bots have absolutely infested the world of Vera. Right now, on your server, go to the Lionhold starting area or anywhere near the starting area and you will see these bots everywhere. While this isn't just limited to areas around the starting zone, it is the most prominent here for a variety of reasons. Main one being that the mobs are easy, of course, and they still drop currency and items that can be looted. There's also a repeatable goblin quest, which I won't really get into, but you'll kind of see it in the footage as well. Also, something worth noting here is that these bots are protected by the Asmongold Accords, which grants characters PvP immunity until they're level 11 so that, players can enjoy the game without being grooved soon as they spawn in, right? But yeah, the main benefit for these AFK multi-boxing bot characters is that these mobs spawn insanely fast. And I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that I saw more bots than players in the starting area today. And that, my friend, is a huge problem. It is January 14th, 2026 at the time of this video, and the game is averaging about a 20k 24-hour player peak. It's getting so bad that I genuinely got to wondering what percentage of that player count are these bots or multi-box players. But anyways, before we go forward, I want to show you something that genuinely scared, confused, and perplexed me. And I want to see all the tinfoil hat comments in the comment section below, but what the hell is this? This bot name is Player, and it's AFKing, killing the goblins like all the other bots in the area, but what is weird is that its nameplate is green. Green, unlike anyone else's. And for those who don't know, nameplates, those green nameplates are usually reserved for players that are in a group with you. It signifies that, hey, you're in a group with this person, it's a friendly, you can't target that person. And as if this wasn't enough, the bot is a level 1 mage. Why is that peculiar? Well, I watched this bot killing mobs for about 40 minutes and it did not level up. Like, it was actually killing them. Like, you could see the loot dropping on the ground. It's looting things, but it would not level up no matter how much it killed. And like, by the way, just for reference for those who don't play, leveling from level 1 to level 2 is done in about killing what, like 4 goblins or so? And while it's killing these infinitely respawning mobs and looting this gear and glint currency, it's it's got a lot more going on. So this hacker or bot or whatever this is basically ensured it'll never have to level, which allows it to be immune from PvP permanently because it stays level 1, right? Oh, but wait, there's more. It gets weirder. This fucking level 1 mage is using abilities from the rogue archetype. You heard that right. This level 1 mage is using rogue abilities. It's using the rogue stealth. Do you see that there? So, oh wait, what's that? There's more? Okay, well, I tried bringing mobs over that would AoE the bot to kill it, kill the level 1. It'll die. It'll be easy. Let's get rid of this super bot. Let's see how that goes. So yeah, this mage rogue super thing is also immortal. The cheats are getting completely out of hand, and surely this was just a dev testing secondary archetypes, right? Right? Like, that was a dev. He's just testing the mage rogue combo, right? Let me know what your tinfoil hat theory of what's going on with this super bot here in the comments. After seeing this super bot, I decided to just log out. It just took everything out of me. I just lacked motivation. I would re-log in the next day and I saw everything wrong with the game as soon as I loaded in. Even more bots were in the area, and the only real players I saw were players infinitely running mules printing gold between the 2 fake settlements of Avon's Inn and Briarmore Farms. Like, I kid you not, I got the whole footage. I will show it on stream. I did not see one single new player leveling the goblins over here, like doing quests and killing. It was all mobs and people running by on mules. I can't stress that enough. The state of Ashes feels bleak. I'd see more and more bots everywhere. I found some higher level AFK multi-boxers and I couldn't get them to flag for PvP. You can see that I tried here. I tried putting my horse out. I flagged for PvP and like I couldn't get them to flag up and attack me back. And I still had all my gear on. So It'll be a little bit complicated, but I'm going to try to get them later. But many players have tried to trick the bots into PvP, but the RMT sellers and, whoever's operating all these things have smartened up in the past week and adjusted their endgame settings to prevent this. If you don't know, there's settings to prevent you from accidentally flagging for PvP. And originally, like last week, it was really easy. You'd see one of these bots AFKing and then you'd flag for PvP, stand in front of them, they'll hit you, thus they're flagged for PvP, and you can loot them. And players were getting big money when they killed these bots because obviously these bots are here for hours and they have a lot of glint, a lot of currency and materials on them. So it looks like they've smartened up in the last week, so I had no luck here. And well, what sucks is, like I said, you can't PvP these guys anymore to eradicate them from the server, but you also can't train mobs on them because the creatures here lack AoE and damage to do so successfully. So you can't really bring a mob over and have the mob, cleave them down while it's attempting to hit you, if that makes sense. However, there was this multi-boxer here and I saw potential. A rogue who is stationed near an area where, it's pretty normal, pretty safe like everywhere else around here, but there is occasionally an event that spawns tougher mobs called aggressors. Now, these super goblins have a huge greatsword and their attacks are AoE cleaves. They also have a very fast damaging spin to win. I saw an opportunity and had to take it. I was on my low level alt as I planned on attempting to PK a bot of high enough level. Thus, I'd have to be very careful. Ladies and gentlemen, the guy operating 42 PCs at once on a bot farm somewhere in a foreign country woke up in his office and got control of the character just in time, like just as it was finally gonna die to these mobs. And yeah, I would follow this guy and just say, hey, I just want to talk. I just want to talk. However, I received this message. And I never saw this word before. However, I put it into Google and, well, ladies and gentlemen, this was a Chinese insult, further adding to the community's longtime accusations and, of a huge Chinese bot operation occurring on the game. Whenever I see people talk about the RMT and all the bots in Ashes of Creation, they always say China and China this, but I guess this kind of further adds evidence that most of the bots are coming from China. I don't know, but either way, I would get my revenge, and there is indeed a happy ending. I would log onto my main character that's max level hours or so later and wait patiently for I think it was about 20 minutes or so until this event popped again that spawned our super goblins, right? Because they eventually disappear. It's like a really short timed event. It was my time to strike. On this higher level character, these mobs would just tickle me. Even though I took off most of my gear to help, if in case I went corrupted or whatever, I think I was gonna be fine. For those who don't know, if you PK a player who doesn't fight back, you lose 3 pieces of gear, so I just was being extra safe. Anyways, it was time for us to get our revenge and time to do the thing that Ashes of Creation developers refuse to, and that's exterminate a bot. I truly enjoyed that. Now, while I've been showing AFK multi-boxers, I want to show how worse things get. There are literally an abundant amount of hackers, or rather people who download cheats to fly around. They also have overlays and programs that help them detect gatherables / materials out in the world that you need to harvest. While the rarity, from my understanding, can't be seen anymore, to my knowledge, these resources can be found quick. I was going to show this from the flyer's perspective and show the overlay, but I'd rather not risk showing the act of cheating looking fun, if that makes sense. And if it isn't obvious or you don't know better, guys, don't cheat, don't RMT. I know that'll fall on deaf ears, obviously, but don't risk your account and potentially ruin the game for others. If you're considering RMTing and cheating in an early access or alpha, that means you perhaps should maybe try another game or go touch grass. I don't know, because when you do that, you're just ruining everyone else's experience, the work that they're doing, ruining the economy or jeopardizing data that they're testing. But back on topic, there's been plenty of frequent flyers spotted. Players around the community say they've noticed the same people they reported still flying around a week later. And this brings me to another point. A lot of these bot names are lazy, as they make hundreds and hundreds of these characters and thus can't be bothered to be creative, right? Often leading to lazily named characters like these ZZZ names. It's sometimes frustrating for players to make a bug report for each of these via the current UI. You got to make sure you typed in the right amount. I think a simple report player option upon right clicking would go very far for various reasons. Let's show this situation here. This player was following a known flyer and presumed RMTer on the server. The cheater does a trade handoff, as you can probably infer here in the background, but then when he thinks the coast is clear and goes off to the side, he goes about his day role-playing as the Superman class. The same bot then is found and followed here, where he preps his mule with 3 crates and then just, flies away to go turn them in and make some gold. I passionately dislike what mules did to Ashes of Creation, but it's one of those things similar to AFK fishing that is just kind of leaning into the desires of RMTers and cheaters looking to print gold. It's like the game's almost being designed to be RMT heaven, whether that's how long it takes to level, the way certain systems work and more. A lot of this is temporary. The game is a work in progress. Keep that in mind. This is not the final product, but there's just so many things right now. It's just like, well, I kind of seen this coming, right? Maybe things will change after this video, but these clumps of macroed players are everywhere, especially near the areas with lower level mobs. And you may not be aware, but there are not just multi-boxers and cheaters. I won't show you all the footage, but there's actual legit programmed bots, and they are out there gathering and they're doing a multitude of seek and gather actions. Plenty of evidence has been posted in Discord, and anyone with enough hours can tell you when it's truly a straight up gathering bot. And we now got to ask why. Why is this so bad? As I stated, bots are not a unique issue to Ashes, and we should give a break as the game is in early access, right? But however, the lack of action and how you choose to deal with the issue is another issue, in my opinion. The team at Intrepid is working on a solution. My theory is that they're working towards one mass ban wave rather than acting on player reports one by one, or are rather trying to avoid just cutting off a head that will inevitably grow back. My hope is that they are further working on and implementing tools to detect and punish these bots sooner and more efficiently, rather than responding to these one by one reports, right? However, the community gets a little frustrated seeing the same cheaters that they reported, weeks ago. Even since week 1 of Steam, there have been RMT websites advertised in global chat. These accounts couldn't get banned fast enough as they just kept coming. There was nothing really Intrepid could do about it if they were taking action. There were just so many, and they just popped right back up with a new one to spam global. Well, Intrepid implemented a failsafe that you had to be level 5 to type in global chat. This kind of slowed down the RMT advertisements, but that's all it did, is slowed it down. As the spam is still occurring, it doesn't take too long to level something to level 5 and then get the spam in your RMT website. These accounts are cheap to make with Steam localized pricing, and if just one player saw that message in global chat and decided to RMT or become, for lack of a better word, addicted to RMT, as in they just buy a lot, then that person who had their Steam account banned or their account banned will still make a profit. Which brings me to the dupe situation and cheaters. Now, I won't speak too much on the Entrepstein fouls or the Finny fouls, as the community are calling them. And there's a lot going on there that'll make this video way too long, and I'll actually probably live react to them once Steven eventually publishes them. Hopefully with not too many redactions, but TLDR is players were caught duping high-level materials and armor, and Steven a while back promised to publish a list, which he still hasn't at the time of this video, but it is coming soon. Have notifications on, as we'll likely take a look at the banned players. It's apparently going to be like a kind of name and shame thing. I don't know if it's going to be just character names or their Discord names, guild names associated or whatever, but it should be interesting to see them follow through with this. This is a great example of Intrepid showing they are willing to take action, and this is needed. You will never stop RMT sellers. I will say it again, you will never stop RMT sellers. However, you can stop the buyers and make examples out of them to scare and deter future buyers. If you heard about a couple people losing their accounts and being banned after RMTing, you yourself will be less likely to RMT, cheat, exploit. However, if you're falling behind and you're losing to people you know are RMTing without punishment, they're just, living life on easy mode, well, you may want to catch up and even the odds. Remember that multi-boxing, cheating, and exploiting are all separate issues, but typically they all feed into that RMT ecosystem. These characters farming glint are doing it to make gold. This gold is so that they can sell it online. Sometimes the characters themselves are sold to players who, they don't feel like leveling, as Ashes of Creation is very grindy and they want to just skip that part. These issues will not be fixed overnight. I really want to see Ashes of Creation succeed. I genuinely hope this video doesn't age well and Intrepid Studios, turns things around. Maybe this video will, light a fire and get things going. Hopefully this video will age as well as Copium Clinic's video from years ago on how Ashes of Creation solved botting. All jokes aside, that was actually a really good video, though it obviously hasn't aged well, and I'm just being funny because I too have had Ashes videos not age well. So yeah, I don't want new players, first time user experience to be entering this lovely world and stepping across the first river and you see nothing but a bot in every corner, like the footage here in the background, like literally in every corner at every spawn. I have faith things will get better, and you can't solve botting and RMT in an MMORPG, but you can try to limit it, take action against bad actors, communicate better, and take opportunities to improve. Comment your thoughts below on this botting situation in the state of Ashes of Creation. If you liked the video, please click the like button as it helps others to find it. And if you haven't done so, now's a good time to make sure you're subscribed. Thank you to all of our YouTube channel members here on screen. If you'd like to help support the channel, becoming a YouTube channel member is a great and consistent way to do so. Thank you so much for watching. It's been nice.
The problem is a slap on the wrist isn't enough to actually deter botters. It just delays them a few days. Steven says this about punishments for cheating in Ashes of Creation.
Certain infractions are immediate and automatic, bans.
Both, to make sure that we have stringent practices from a CS from a customer service perspective to enforce our rules, and to make sure that players are aware if they partake in this, there is a huge risk in doing so. It's not going to be a slap on the hand. It's not going to be we told you once, we told you twice, we told you 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Okay, we're just taking some gold away, that kind of thing. We have got to ensure that it is feared to do those things.